Hello. Hello everybody, welcome back from life, welcome back from the break. Hope you had a good one. You're settling back into work nicely. You're relaxed and chill and all's good. Chris here with you for the next 90 minutes or so to take you through a little bit of table foggle. Just as always, getting a few things sorted. Including bringing back the yellow. As we ease into 6 rounds: general knowledge, history, sports and games, who am I, music and lyrics, and then alphabet soup. Is everybody in their homes and places of businesses, etc., everyone who's using Table Foggle currently able to cast the stream, if that's something you do to your TVs, and currently able to find the stream when you search for it, etc.? Just checking, because I have had a few reports of problems and trying to work out if there are problems with us or problems with users. Do let me know if there's anything like that. And if all is good and all is well and everybody is signed in and signed up, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't get going. Team captains. Well, let's roll the intro. All right, let's go. Team Cams, you should have your answer sheets. Round 1 is, as always, general knowledge. Question 1. In tarot cards, what is the equivalent of the Joker card? Tarot cards used for fortune telling, etc. In tarot cards, what is the equivalent of the Joker? Question 2. In the 12th chapter of the Book of Revelation, what angel leads a battle against a dragon? Sorry, what? Is this the Bible? Or is this Game of Thrones? In the 12th chapter of the Book of Revelation, what angel leads a battle against a dragon? Question 3. What number on the Beaufort wind scale corresponds to hurricane force? You know, I should know this, and I don't think I do. I should, for the record, I work in hurricanes. It's what I do. Yeah, anyway, you'll get this. What number on the Beaufort wind scale corresponds to hurricane force? Question 4. What is the main ingredient of the dish biryani? Quite like a biryani. So a huge welcome to everybody on the scoreboard today. We've got 11 teams on the scoreboard, not including Tablefish admin. So Les Lockdown Files, Team Glenn Wisteria, Quarantine and Turner featuring the Big D, the CT, Fake Frazzledals, the Tadmeisters, Brennan's Bread on Civil Servants, Amazing Team Total Landscaping in quarantine. Sorry to hear you're in quarantine and isolation station. Hope everybody's well. I feel like everyone on the island of Ireland has been in quarantine at some stage in the last 3 weeks. It's been rampant, but I know Amazing Team Total Landscaping join us from all sorts of places, including the Netherlands. So I hope all's well. What is the main ingredient of the dish biryani? Question 5. In what human organ is vitamin A primarily stored? I think biryani used to be my go-to Indian dish, actually. It's not anymore. I've become more basic with age. It's all about butter chicken these days. But in what human organ is vitamin A primarily stored? Question 6. For what art form is the Carl Allen Award given? For what art form is the Carl Allen Award given? Question 7. Philately is the study of what? There was actually 2 lads called Phil in my primary school class. There was Phil Early and Phil Philately. Sorry, that's bad. There's a much less PG joke you can probably make with that word, actually. I'll have to find out what it's the study of before I can make the joke. Philately is the study of what? Question 8. What country's highest ranked honor is the Order of the Elephant? What country's highest ranked honor is the Order of the Elephant? And that gets us on our first recap slide of the night. In tarot cards, what's the equivalent of the Joker in the 12th book of Revelation? What angel leads battle against the dragon? What number of the Beaufort scale corresponds to hurricane force? What is the main ingredient of the dish of biryani? In what human organ is vitamin A primarily stored? For what art form is Carl Adams Awards given? Philately is the study of what? And what country's highest ranked honor is the Order of the Elephant? Team captains, you have, as always, 2 minutes. It's 8:12 and a half. You've got until 8:14 and a half to get those answers in. Welcome to your quiz at Harry. Congratulations to everyone who got through today and work, by the way. Fair play to all of you. The reason we don't have a pixelated this week is because I only barely made it. It's a toughie. Alright, teams. There is no question 9 yet. Apologies, I meant to change that before we kicked off. There is no question 9 today. I think anyone who submitted their after sheet after the C team or Team Glenn did, the question 9 isn't coming through to us. So I'm collecting those answer sheets right now. If you haven't already hit submit, please do hit it. Alright, let's pop over the correct answers, shall we? In tarot cards, the equivalent of the Joker is the Fool. Fool. Which I guess is to fool your reader, as opposed to fooling your future. The Fool. In the 12th chapter of the Book of Revelation, it is the Archangel Michael who leads the battle against a dragon. Bible's got more action in it than people think it does. Well done if you got that. On the Beaufort scale, a 12 is a hurricane. There were a couple of people saying 8, which is where it switches into storm force, I think. But a 12 is where it gets to really, really scary wind. A category 1 hurricane. The main ingredient of a biryani? Rice. In what human organ is vitamin A primarily stored? You'll find it in your liver, if you've still got one after the Christmas New Year period. The Carl Adams Award is given for dancing. Well done if you got that literally award. That'd be pretty impressive. Philately is the study of postage stamps and the sort of history of postage stamps and postal history, that sort of stuff, which is, to be fair, fascinating. And finally, what country's highest ranked honor is the Order of the Elephant? A couple of people were certainly guessing here. Thailand and India were very popular guesses. And I can totally see why, right? India has their own breed of elephants that are quite important in Indian culture. And Thailand, of course, has the famous white elephants that are very important in Thai like monarchy and history. The answer is actually counterintuitively Denmark. I don't know why, but a couple of teams got it. Maybe they know why. Maybe they can let us know in the comments. But well done if you did well on that round. So let's bring up the scoreboard and have a quick look at how things went. And we would say, I think that was a tough round 1. It was a tough round 1. Good few teams getting 4, which is our minimum score, of course. But a few teams who did all right. So Quarantine Turner, Wisteria, and Les Lockdown Files. You guys got 5s. No one got 6s. Fake Frazzle Dazzle continuing a recent great run of form. And Glenn, who's always knocking them out of the park, up there on 7s. So a hard first round to get you started, but here we go into history, which you guys tend to really lap up. So let's see, is that true this round as well? Round 2, history, question 1. What was the capital city of the Inca Empire? I think the capital city of the Aztec Empire is a more famous name. So the Inca Empire is a little bit tricky. If you've had the chance to visit Peru, maybe you'll know it. But I certainly wouldn't have known it. What is the capital city of the Inca Empire? What German dance, which sees partners spinning together in close contact, was condemned as depraved when it was first seen in Regency society? What German dance, which sees partners spinning together in close contact, was condemned as depraved when it was first seen in Regency society? Honestly, if you can only name one German dance, you've probably got it. It'll probably do the business for you. The controversial film Birth of a Nation, released in 1915, was used as a recruiting tool for which organization? For anyone who's unfamiliar with a Mexican bullfrog, it's effectively when you just dump a beer in a margarita. They're surprisingly good. Highly recommend. Mexican bullfrog if you ever get the chance to partake. The controversial film Birth of a Nation, which was released in 1915, was used as a recruiting tool for which organization? Who was France's first and last emperor? Sorry, who was France's first... I read that. I just completely misread that. Who was France's first president and last emperor? Question 5. What historical event has been described, or was described famously at the time, I think, as a date which will live in infamy? A famous historical personality who was associated with the event was the person who described it. In a speech that's known as the Day of Infamy speech. What historical event was described as a day which will live in infamy? Question 6. The Turbo War was a fishing dispute between Canada and what other country? That's almost certainly going to end up being pronounced turbot. I get the feeling. The Turbot War was a fishing dispute between Canada and what other country? Question 7. Who ultimately succeeded King Alfred the Great as King of the Anglo-Saxons? Who ultimately succeeded King Alfred the Great as King of the Anglo-Saxons? And finally, which American president was in power during the Black Thursday Wall Street crash? Which I believe was 1929. Could be wrong. Which American president was in power during the Black Thursday Wall Street crash. And our second recap side of the night. What's the capital city of the Incan Empire? What German dad sees partner spinning in close contact and was condemned as depraved when it was first seen in Regency Society. The controversial film Both of a Nation was released in 1915 and used as a recruiting tool for who? Who was France's first president and last emperor? What historical event was described as a date which will live in infamy in a famous speech made at the time? The Turbo War was a fishing dispute between Canada and what other country? Who ultimately succeeded King Alfred the Great as King of the Anglo-Saxons? And which American president was in power during Black Thursday Wall Street crash? Team captains, you have, as always, 2 minutes. It's 8:23 3/4, so you have until 8:25 3/4 to get that sheet in. Tell you what, it's not your best history round. We're honest with you. Let's collect the answer sheets and we'll go over the correct answers in this brutal New Year quiz. Tough enough one so far. Alright, let's click on. The capital city of the Inca Empire was the city of Cusco. It was a city from the 13th century to kind of 1532. I don't think it's still... No, it is still a city. The German dance, which sees partners spinning together in close contact, was condemned as depraved, was, of course, the waltz. Well done if you got that. I can only name one German dance. I think if that's true of you, you might have also got the points. The controversial film, Birth of a Nation, which was released in 1915, was used as a recruiting tool for the Ku Klux Klan. KKK. Those nasty buggers. On we go. France's first president and last emperor was a guy called Napoleon III. He is a different person to Napoleon Bonaparte, as far as I can tell. So, well done if you got that. What historical event was described as a date which will live in infamy? FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president at the time, made a date that lives in infamy speech after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. December 7th, 1941, I think. Sometime around then. The Turbot War was a fishing dispute between Canada and counterintuitively Spain. Although we may have to accept the EU if you give that as an answer, but primarily Spain. Turbot is a fish. We call it something else here. But the Spanish ships were fishing it off Canadian territorial waters, and so the Canadian Fisheries Board arrested the Spanish sailors. Ireland and the UK actually took the side of Canada in the war, which was a bloodless war in the 1950s. Who ultimately succeeded King Alfred the Great as in the 1990s, as king of the Anglo-Saxons? It was Edward the Elder. And some of you said FDR is the answer for who was the American president during the Black Thursday Wall Street crash 1929. It was actually Herbert Hoover. I don't know if you got that. And that gets us on to round 3, sports and games. But as I say, it was a tough enough round. I don't think anyone did particularly brilliantly on it. So let's display the scoreboard and see where we stand. Team Glenn and Wisteria Fake Frazzle Dazzle, you guys are all tied for the lead. After the two teams that got the best scores in round 1 got minimums in round 2, so you guys can see just how hard round 2 was. Well done to anyone who didn't get a minimum in round 2. Looking at Amazing Team Total Landscape and Quarantine Turner, Les Lockdown Files, and Wisteria, who did the best on round 2 by a margin, and that's what's got them into joint first place as we go into round 3, sports and games. Team Cavs should be able to see your answer sheets. Round 3, question 1. Where is this year's Winter Olympics being hosted? Starting next month, the Winter Olympics. Less than 9 months from the Summer Olympics. I'm a big fan of the Winter Olympics. I think they're great. And if you're still playing table fish with us this time next month when they kick off, I'll be probably flagging the events that are worth watching each week, in my opinion. But where is this year's Winter Olympics being hosted? Question 2. What Irishman currently coaches the La Rochelle Rugby Union team in the top 14 in France? Or Irishman currently coaches the La Rochelle rugby team. Question 3. What sport is played in the Corbillion Cup? What sport is played for the Corbillion Cup? Question 4. Who was given a special medical permission to play in the Australian Open despite being unvaccinated this week? Who was given special permission to play in the Australian Open despite being unvaccinated this week? As in, got permission this week. That's the Australian Open tennis. Question 5. What team is infamous for throwing the 1919 Baseball World Series in a, that should say, match-fixing scandal? What team? What team is infamous for throwing the 1919 Baseball World Series in a match-fixing scandal? Question 6. What sport has appeared in both the Modern Olympics and the Squid Games? What sport has appeared in both the Modern Olympics and the Squid Games? By Modern Olympics, we mean any Olympics that happened between 1896 and now, by the way. That's to differentiate it from the ancient Olympics. This sport hasn't actually been in the Olympics for a little while. Question 7. What football team play at Goodison Park? Football team play at Goodison Park. And question 8. What former professional wrestler has acted in The Mummy, Fast and Furious, and Jumanji film franchises? One of the most bankable actors in Hollywood right now, this man. His films always do well. I don't think it's much to do with him, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. What former professional wrestler has acted in The Mummy, Fast and Furious, and Jumanji franchises? All right. Once again, here at Tablefish, we're on a mission to keep quizzes alive and keep people who are separated hanging out with each other. If you want to support us on that mission, you can contribute. Thank you to everyone who contributed. They're all the people who contributed in Q4 of 2021. We'll get that updated. Q3 of 2021. We'll get that updated next week. But thank you to everyone who contributed. If you feel like contributing, go to www.tablefish.com/contribute. Scan that QR code. Really appreciate all your support. We'll see what happens. It feels like the end game for COVID now. But the next couple of weeks will be very, very telling. And that'll be telling for the future of Tablefish as well. And here is your recap side for the round. Where is this year's Winter Olympics being hosted? What Irishman currently coaches the La Rochelle rugby team? What sport is played for the Corbillion Cup? Who has given special permission to play in the Australian Open despite being unvaccinated this week? What team is infamous for throwing the 1919 Baseball World Series in a match-fixing scandal? What sport appeared in both the Modern Olympics and the Squid Games? What football team play at Goodison Park? And what former professional wrestler has acted in The Mummy, Fast, Furious, and Jumanji franchises? Team captains, we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back for the second half of the quiz, as always, at 8:45, 8:45. I will talk to you then. And we're back, folks. So if you haven't already submitted your answer sheets, do hit submit on them now. Collecting them this second. If you had a good break. Let's flick over some of the answers to the round, shall we? This year's Winter Olympics is being hosted in Beijing. Second Winter Olympics in a row that's been in the region. Last one was in Pyeongchang. So, not in Pyeongchang. It was in Sungyang or whatever in South Korea, which is a pain because that means they're 8 hours ahead of us in time zones. But anyway, it's still going to be pretty good. So it kicks off Friday, the 4th of February. The Irishman that currently coaches La Rochelle is, of course, Ronan O'Gara. Raj, to many of you. The Corbullion Cup is a table tennis tournament. I say that was a pretty niche knowledge, so if anyone got that, fair play indeed. Novak Djokovic was given special permission to play in the Australian Open despite being unvaccinated and against getting vaccinated. The team that famously threw the 1919 Baseball World Series in a match-fixing scandal were the Chicago White Sox. Chicago White Sox, nicknamed the Chicago Black Sox for what they did. The sport that has appeared in both the modern Olympics and the Squid Games is tug of war. Tug of war was in the Olympics until 1920. Great Britain have the most Olympic medals in tug of war. And it is Everton who play in Goodison Park. And finally, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We accepted Dwayne Johnson. We also accepted anyone who said The Rock is that actor who has been in The Mummy, The Fast and Furious, and Jumanji franchises. Something rare has happened. The best round of the quiz so far, on average, might well be the sports round. But a quick look at the scoreboard now will reveal something that's also very interesting, is that no one's got a perfect score in the entire first half of the quiz so far. So Glenn leads. Team Glenn at 18 points. Quarantine and Turner and Fake Faz Lazzle, they're one off the lead. They're on second. Les Lockdown Files and Wisteria, you guys are tied for fourth on 16. Amazing Team Total Landscape all on your own is sixth. And then your quiz of the Tadmasters, Brennan's Bread and Uncivil Servants, all of you guys tied for seventh with Isolation Station in 11th. So loads and loads to play for. We're on to a picture round. We're going to show you pictures of relatively famous celebrities. Not massively famous celebrities, but they're just normal pictures of relatively famous celebrities. We're going to ask you to tell us who they are. So let's switch to the picture round format. That's this format. I'm up here. Oh, it's still Christmassy. I'll change it as we go. And with that, let's jump into the round. So team captains should be able to see your answer sheets. And on we go. Who is this? And yeah, I have to move this, don't I? So who is this? And on we go. Question 2. Who is this? Question 3. Question 4. Question 5. Question 6. One of my favorite actors. I see him in altogether too few films, unfortunately. Question 7. And finally, question 8. So a couple of pretty famous people there. How many of them could you name? Let me give you this recap slide. And it's just ticking over 8:53. I'll give you until 8:55 and a half to get those answers in. Give it your best shot. Just 25 seconds, team captains, to get those answers in. I'll be collecting the answer sheets in just a moment. I think people are finding this one tough as well. People are finding this one a little tough. So I'm going to collect the answer sheets right now. If you haven't already hit submit, please do hit it. And with that, let's blast over the answers to the round. This man for many is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Pelé, Brazilian soccer legend Pelé. I think most of you recognize Pelé. Some of you might have been, as we were unfortunate enough to be self-isolating or quarantining on New Year's Eve, and you might have tuned into RTE's coverage, which I know was thrown together at the last minute, and I know was wasn't the programming that they'd expected either, but was interesting to say the least. It was hosted by this woman. This is Saturday's singer and Irish TV personality Una Healy. The amazing Betty Davis, actor from the golden age of Hollywood. Some of you put down Fidel Castro for this man. Close, but this is actually a young and sexy photo of Che Guevara, Argentine revolutionary, a one-time rugby player, and was involved with Fidel in Cuba's revolution and was killed leading revolutions in Bolivia. This man here was very, very good at playing the trumpet. It's Miles Davis. And this man here, Dublin's own Andrew Scott, actor. You might know him from Sherlock or Fleabag or maybe even Band of Brothers. Andrew Scott. A lot of people knew this character, either her character from The Handmaid's Tale or her character from The Gilmore Girls. That is Alexis Bledel. And finally, I think probably one of the harder ones in the round, very famous American comedian George Lopez. So well done if you did well on that round. Still no perfect scores to report, but there has been a change of leadership. Fake Frazzle Dazzle stormed into the lead, having done very, very well on that round. 7 out of 8. I'll tell you now which one tripped up the Frazzle Dazzlers. They didn't get Una Healy. Betraying the fact they're playing from the UK, they didn't get Una Healy. They got everybody else on the list. So if you got Una Healy and they didn't, you could have been the key to them getting a perfect score. Just try to get that transfer in. But they're leading the table right now on 24 points, with 3 teams tied for second: Wisteria, Quarantine, and Turn, Team Glen. They're all on 22. And Amazing Team Total Landscaping Keep the Pressure on 21. Les Lockdown Files and Your Quiz at Harry tied for 6th on 20. On Civil Servants on 19. The Townmeisters and Brennan's Bread running at the top 10 on 18 each. Let's get going with round 5, music and lyrics. Let's get out of picture round frame and into the regular frame. And on we go. We're going to give you guys some lyrics. We're going to ask you to name the song. Name the song that opens with the lyrics, "A winter's day in deep and dark December." I'm going to try my best not to sing them. Winter's day in deep and dark December. Question 2. What artist sang the 1986 love song The Lady in Red? Oh, you are going to need answer sheets, aren't you? Yeah, thank you, Trish. And Thomas. What artist sang the 1986 love song A Lady in Red? The Lady in Red. Famously not written about his wife, written about his mistress. Famously. Question 3. What were Adele's first 4 albums named after? What were Adele's first 4 albums named after? They weren't all named after the same thing. They would have the same name, but they were all named after a type of thing. And that's the answer we're looking for. Name the artist or band who has a song that goes, the race is on to get out of the bottom, the top is high, so your roots are forgotten. This artist is a Tablefish favorite. So there may have been questions about this artist before. Name the artist or band who has a song that goes, the race is on to get out of the bottom, the top is high, so your roots are forgotten. Question 5. What was the name of the Beatles' debut studio album? If you haven't had a chance yet and you do have Amazon Prime, I do recommend you stick on Get Back, the reconditioned Beatles tapes of the recording of one of their later albums in Twickenham Studios. It's not a TV show, it's not a documentary. It's just touched up archive footage edited into chronological order with a very, very occasional text to give it some context, and it's amazing. It's well worth watching. What was the name of the Beatles' debut studio album? Question 6. Finish the lyrics. Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting blankety blank 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 blank. Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting blankety blank 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 blank. Finish the lyrics. Question 7. The best known version of the theme from A Summer Place is the 1959 instrumental orchestra by what famous composer? Yes, I did say orchestra. I'm sticking to it. The best known version of the theme from A Summer Place is 1959 instrumental orchestra by what famous composer? And question 8. Name the title of the song that includes the lyrics, you must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. Name the title of the song that includes the lyrics, you must remember this, a kiss is still a kiss. And here's a recap slide for the music and lyrics round. Name the song with the lyrics: A Winter's Day in Deep and Dark December. What artist sang the 1986 love song The Lady in Red? What were Adele's first albums named after? First four. Name the artist or band who has a song that goes the races on to get out of the bottom, the top is high, so it's forgotten. What was the name of the Beatles' debut studio album? Finish the lyrics. Give me a second. I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting blank. The best known version of the theme from A Summer Place is the 1959 instrumental orchestra by what famous composer? And name the song that includes the lyrics. You must remember this: a kiss is still a kiss. Team captains, you have, as always, 2 minutes. It's 9:05 and a half. You have until 9:07 and a half to get those answers in. Niche reference. Alright, Team Cams, I'm collecting those answer sheets right now, so if you haven't already hit submit, please do hit it. We've got some smoke. We've got some people who are absolutely knocking that round out of the park, so well done to them. Some people still not loving it, but some people doing pretty well. All right, let's go. Over the answers to the round. Name the song that opens with the lyrics, A Winter's Day in Deep and Dark December. The song we were looking for was Simon & Garfunkel. It was I Am a Rock. That's how it begins. Violet Hill, the Coldplay song, starts with similar lyrics, I think. Was A Long and Dark December from the rooftops. I remember there was snow, white snow. Close enough, eh? Yeah, I Am a Rock, Simon & Garfunkel is what we were looking for. The artist sang the 1986 love song The Lady in Red, again, Ireland's own Chris de Burgh. What an absolute banging song that is. Adele's first 4 studio albums were named after her age, believe it or not. Kind of cool. Name the artist or band whose song that goes the races on to get out of the bottom, the top is high, your roots are forgotten. It was, of course, the Spice Girls. Mel B was one of the people on the New Year's Honours list this year, getting recognised for her contributions to music as well as her writing and contributions to things like mental health and addiction awareness. She wrote very well about it in her autobiography the year before last. The Beatles' debut studio album was Please Please Me. Finish the lyrics. Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lover, she's waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses asking about a scar? I don't know. Car? Higher than the Empire State is what we're looking for. That's fun. We are young. Well done if you got that. Best known version of Theme from Summer Place, the 1959 instrumental orchestra by Percy Faith. And finally, play it again, Sam. Name the song that includes the lyrics. You must remember this: a kiss is still a kiss. It's As Time Goes By, famously featured in the film Casablanca. I guess it's on around 6. Alphabet soup with a pretty spicy table, I think. So let's display it for you guys. Last week's joint winners, I think, Fake Frazzle Dazzle, weren't you? One ahead at the moment of Team Glenn, who are one ahead of Europe Wizard, who are one ahead of Wisteria, tied with Quarantine Turner. They're one ahead of Uncivil Servants, and they're one ahead of the Tadmeisters, tied with Amazing Team Total Landscaping, and they're one ahead of the Les Lockdown Files, and they're one ahead of Brennan's Bread. So the entire top 10 is a spectrum. There's loads and loads and loads to play for no matter where you are on the table. But with that, is there a rumor that question 2? Oh, there might well be. That would be fascinating. But anyway, we get on to round 6, alphabet soup. It's general knowledge, but with a little alphabetical hint. Team Campus should be able to see your answer sheets. Let's go. What E river runs between Brooklyn and Manhattan? What E river runs between Brooklyn and Manhattan? Question 2. This N city was the first permanent capital of Japan. This N city was the first permanent capital of Japan. Question 3. In a P2P network, what does the P stand for? Yeah, it stands for P. Both P stand for the same word. In a P2P network. And the number 2 does not stand for the number 2. Why do computer people make this so tricky, eh? In a P2P network, what does the P stand for? Question 4. This A legal offence is derived from a Latin word meaning elsewhere. I don't know if it's so much a legal defense as it is admitted in evidence. But you get the idea. This A legal offense is derived from a Latin word meaning elsewhere. Question 5. Swede D blank Hammarskjöld was the second. What? Was the second Secretary General of the United Nations. We're looking for what his middle name was. His first name was, Swedish man, D blank Hammarskjöld was the second Secretary General of the United Nations. Jeez, I'm all over the place. I was put off by how intimidating that word is to say. There's punctuation I'm unfamiliar with. Swede, D blank Hammarskjöld was the second Secretary General of the United Nations. Question 6. This P, Notting Hill Road, is home to London's most famous antique market. This P, Notting Hill Road, is home to London's most famous antique market. Question 7. What 2 US states begin with the letter T? What 2 US states begin with the letter T? And finally, question 8. This B, popular Cuban song, was also Ricky Ricardo's signature song on I Love Lucy. And if you haven't watched it yet, I can recommend with some confidence that Being the Ricardos, the film about I Love Lucy, is well worth watching. This B, popular Cuban song, was also Ricky Ricardo's signature song on I Love Lucy. Here's your final recap. Start of the night. What E-river runs between Brooklyn and Manhattan? This N city was the first permanent capital of Japan. In a P2P network, what does the P stand for? This A legal defense is derived from a Latin word meaning elsewhere. Swede, D blank, whatever that second name is, the second Secretary General of the United Nations. This P, Notting Hill Road, is home to London's most famous antique market. And what 2 US states begin with the letter T? And finally, this B, popular Cuban song, was also Ricky Ricardo's signature song on I Love Lucy. Team Cams, you have, as always, 2 minutes. It's 21:17. You have until 21:19 to get those answers in. Then we'll play some table foggle. We'll go over the correct answers. We will reveal the winners, and we'll let you go for the evening. Really struggling with that second US state beginning with the letter T. Anyway, another 30 seconds, Team Cams. And I'm collecting those answer sheets. So if you haven't already hit submit, please do hit it. Anyway, on we go. What E-river runs between Brooklyn? We do table foggle first. Almost forgot. Let's switch over to the format. Hello. All right. We're going to play our word game. You guys know how this works. I'm going to put a grid of letters there. I'm going to ask you to make words. 1 point words. 3-letter words will get you 1 point. 4-letter words will get you 2 points. Etc., etc., etc. Make as many words as you can in the time given. Team Captains, you can have 2 minutes starting right now. The last couple of these have been really hard. And this one doesn't feel any different, to be honest. $30 team canvas. Uh, 5 seconds. And we're done. Let's flick over the answers to the round and reveal the final scores. The East River runs between Brooklyn and Manhattan. Not that hard. It's the Hudson that runs down the other side. The end city is Nara. It was the first permanent capital of Japan. In a peer-to-peer network, P stands for peers. I almost said peer-to-peer when I was reading it because I'm so used to saying peer-to-peer instead of P2P because it's easier to say peer-to-peer. The A legal offense we're looking for is alibi. It's someone who can verify that you were somewhere else. Alibi. Much simpler first name than second name. Dag Hammarskjöld's Portobello Road in Notting Hill is home to London's most famous antique market. The two US states that begin with the letter T, I got Tennessee and I just could not remember Texas. Well, if you got that, Texas and Tennessee. The B popular Cuban song that was also Ricky Ricardo's signature song, I Love Lucy, is the Babalu. That is it for today, folks. Thank you so much for playing. I'm displaying the scoreboard right now and I'm recalculating it to include the table Foggle scores. So firstly, a massive congratulations to the Tadmeisters who got a massive score on table Foggle. The 60 points is double the third highest score, almost double the third highest score, which is Franz Dazzle. Well done to Quarantine and Turner, who got the second highest score. Well done to Frazzle Dazzle, who for the second quiz in a row have won. This time a clear win, 2 points ahead of the next team. Absolutely smashing results. You're the Quiz at Harry in second place. They got the only perfect score of this evening on round 5, so well done to them. Team Glenn in third, Quarantine and Turner, and On Civil Service tied for fourth. Les Lockdown Files and Wisteria tied for sixth. The Tadmeisters in eighth. Amazing Team Total Landscaping ninth. Brendan Spread at the top 10. But thank you everyone for playing, and well done in particular to the people who kept it lit right the way to the very end. I'm looking at the team, the C team. You guys had your best round of the quiz all overall in the final round, and that stuff you absolutely love to see, so well done to you guys. Same goes for Les Lockdown Files, your best round of the quiz in the final round, and I always love to see that here at Table Fish. From myself, from Katie, from Aidan, from Richie, from Rick, I hope you guys are having a smashing start to the new year. I hope you have a great evening. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope to see you back here next Tuesday. Until then, good evening and good night.